I don't give a fluff. Okay, alright. I'm just gonna be on here. And while we just get everybody invited in. Okay. Uh, let's see. Uh, alright. Alright, okay. Hello, everyone. Um, yeah, today is, a kind of special day. If you have heard. um, because it is, Autism Awareness Day. And, yeah. um, for those of you who, do not know, mm, um, I am on the autism spectrum. And, today it's sort of like a special day of, like, I just want to talk about my um, experiences with, being on the spectrum. There's some stories and stuff, you know, that sort of deal. So, um, let's go, I wonder if I should add in, like, a content warning on the stream thing. Um, yeah, let's just do that. Review going into some topic topics. Okay, yeah, that should at least inform everyone. Okay. Um. Yeah. Okay. So let's get this sort of story out of the way. For those of you who haven't catched the story before, or you know, during my previous streams, if you're like new to the channel, or just haven't catched any of my previous streams when I talked about this. And this is sort of going into more detail, so um, uh, heavy topics in this stream for those of you who are watching it now, or watching this in the future. But yeah. Um, so here's my story with how I was diagnosed with autism. Um, and yeah. So like everyone can sort of be open about being on the spectrum, and yeah, this you know the deal. Um, because this should be talked about more openly between for everyone, because it's not an issue. It's if you're on the spectrum, okay. If you're on the spectrum, it's perfectly fine that you're on the spectrum, because um, it's something. There's nothing wrong with being on the spectrum, as with every other um, neurodif um, uh, I am tired. I've been up all morning trying to write like a script or something for this. I had no idea of what to even begin with, but so I scrapped it and then just decided, screw it, let's just do this. And content warning, big. I am not a medical expert whatsoever. This is just me talking about my experiences. Please do not take my word seriously as if I was a professional um, medical expert. Please get in contact with someone who has a degree in this shit. Because I'm just some rando VTuber on the internet, and I cannot vouch for anything anyone says. This is just my experiences with being on the autism spectrum. So, big, big, big disclaimer. Alright? Big disclaimer for anyone listening. This is not for medical advice. I will not be giving medical advice. There's a big distinction between being diagnosed and having own experiences and being an actual person who knows this shit in and out, because you literally spent your entire tenure or whatever amount of time to get the degree to know this shit, alright? Because I don't know. I only know my experiences. Alright? So, big disclaimer on that shit. Okay? Actually. Let's see. Text. Okay. Not. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, right there. You see it right on the table. I am not a medical expert. This is only my experience with it, okay? Alright. I don't want to be in any legal trouble before I go into this. All right. Um, because I should have considered that. Um, yeah. Okay. So now I think I got all the legal stuff out of the way. Um, so yeah, not an expert. Just my own experience being on the autism spectrum. Um, because everyone's different on the spectrum. That's why it is called a spectrum. All right, because that's what it is. Some people have a lot of people have different experiences and symptoms and stuff, and Okay, I should just go on to this story now because I am tired. Okay, so story time. So for those who don't know, I believe way back in fifth grade, um, and for those who are not in the United States, that would have been um uh um I was held back a year. Um um so about like 11 to 12 for those who are in the Europes. Um 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 I by the point when I was like 10 or 11, um or 11, 12, I mean, or whatever it was that I said, I had already been diagnosed with ADHD. um um and because it was by that point it was pretty obvious that have I had that um 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 been diagnosed. It's been proven that I had both Okay, hold on. Dyslexia. Nailed it. um, and ADHD because it was it was by like ever since I was like young, like really young. It was pretty obvious that I had it, and my brother also had it. And shh, don't tell anyone, but I believe it's pretty likely that my dad also has it. So it's been in the family. Um, so it's like pretty obvious that I had those two. Um, and the only and I at that point I had only like at that point in my life I did not know of anyone who was on the spectrum because I like at least anyone that I knew of at that point in my life that was on the spectrum. Um, and um, and I already talked about my friend, well, my oldest friends from that time, and that whole thing in my Zelda streams, which I would need to publish soon on YouTube, but that's for a different time because this is about autism. Um, he was. It was pretty obvious that he was on the spectrum. Like looking back on it, yeah, I should have. Oh, two of my friends, oldest friends, definitely, they showed signs of being on the spectrum. Um, and you know, by the time I would say, at least within the last month or so of fifth grade, um, one of my I was in like a smaller group to help um, with like learning and stuff because I was at that point in my life not on par with a lot of other students because because of the aforementioned ADHD and autism. Not autism, ADHD and dyslexia really sort of made it harder for me personally to catch up with everyone who was in my current grade at that time. And and God, that that teacher that I had in fifth grade, she was a strict. Like, just imagine your stereotypical like old white woman, old white teacher, like strict teacher, and yeah, that was like you know, I think you would have a pretty accurate depiction of what she looked like and what she was. But looking back throughout my years in like kindergarten to to the end of high school, she was not the worst teacher that I had, and that says a lot. If the old white woman was not the worst teacher that you had, um, but yeah, she was strict. I think her teaching methods were not for me per se. It definitely helped out a lot for other kids, but looking back, it was it was not for me. So but yeah, like I was saying, backtracking a bit here. Um, yeah, the last month of my fifth grade, um, I was in sort of my smaller group class, and my teacher for that small group had a son, I believe, who was also on the autism spectrum, and she sort of saw like some similarities between sort of things that I was doing and her son, and she talked to my parents. I think at least my mom. I know that for a fact. That that perhaps it might be a good opportunity to check if I could be on the autism spectrum. We set up. My mom set up a schedule, an appointment with like a group. I don't remember. It's like I said, fifth grade, so almost gonna be about like a decade ago. So I can't say for sure I remember correctly. But yeah. So I um got an appointment. They went through sort of like check marks off, sort of like how they do with ADHD and dyslexia and all that to see sort of like like to see if there is sort of a similarity between what's already known at that time and what I have. And they said after the results came in and stuff, they said I think it was like oh like I think it's called like level 1 at least the lower, like the lowest end of the spectrum for me, which was like not really affecting my life, too much. And it was like kind of in that in between area um, of uh, you know being on, like, it was, excuse me, um of like, oh, this is like, it's hard to like, it won't be a huge factor in my life, if that makes sense. I don't know how to properly word this, but basically the lower end of the spectrum. And you know, and that was kind of an eye opener. But yeah, this, but yeah, that's basically the story. And throughout my time, started learning more about how, you know, autism sort of was becoming not not popular, more relative in my life, because I met more people who also were on the spectrum through like small group get-together sort of deals. I met um, my first partner, because they are pansexual as well. Um, that I recently learned about. So yay, two pansexuals. um, but yeah, met my first partner through that, through the small groups like after school and stuff, and I still am in talks with them. Obviously we're not dating, but we're still really good friends, because there was no hard feelings afterwards. It's just, is that more? It would be best to be just friends. Yeah. uh, yeah. And met a few other really good friends of mine. Who were basically, I met them a few times, and I know of one who recently graduated from college, the college that I go to, actually. So that was fun to learn. And yeah, let's see. Um, what else? And like, if I like being able to learn about like myself and autism, it was really, really an eye opener experience for myself, because I was said earlier, um seeing those who like after college, definitely when I started streaming and stuff, and joining other communities, I also met a lot of other wonderful people who are on the spectrum, and who are also in the LGBTQ community, who also uh, LGBTQIA plus community. My brain. Yeah, part of like the overarching group of the LGBTQIA plus community, sort of, for me to slowly learn um, more about myself. Because throughout the past year, like with me, slowly realizing, yeah, it's like um, when I first when I um, like was sort of soul searching and stuff, I felt comfortable with being non-binary and pansexual because those that's felt the most me throughout my life. I felt with being non-binary and pansexual, and I have to thank the communities that I had joined for helping being a part of that process. Allowing me to learn more about other people, um, and sort of their personal experiences, and sort of learning more which about myself through that process. So yeah. um I don't know if there was anything um else that um I want to add to the story at the moment. um let's see what um you know oh yeah. So when I start, actually, as someone on the spectrum, um 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 when I started streaming, and for those who have been loyally with me throughout the years, throughout my time on this website actually streaming, you know that I used to do a lot of or mainly I've been doing like um or primarily doing Dungeons and Dragons, because that was my whole stick at the time, because I was doing that was my whole spiel about, you know, because I like Dungeons and Dragons, and I used to do a lot of DMing for that, which I'm going to bring back soon. Don't worry, for those who actually want to see more of that. Um, but yeah, but my players always were understanding about the fact that I was on the spectrum and all that, and that really helped out a whole lot. Being more open about it, and um, I was actually planning on making this a um full stream, like an hour and a half stream, but you know what? I feel like it um like at this moment right now, I'm gonna save all of that for later on after my classes and stuff. I'm streaming Mario and stuff because I feel like talking about that shit, like more about it, and allow me to collect my thoughts because I'm tired right now. Um, yeah. Um, allow me to form my own thoughts a little bit better. And yeah, let's just I'm going to just raid on over someone else at the moment. Um, yeah, do. Let's see who's currently live. I am. Oh, slash. Let's raid on over Chili Farmer. Because they are in some Final Fantasy 14, I believe. Whatever the recent one that is online. So please give them all the support and stuff. And yeah, thank you all for watching, or for those who had watched, because I know it's short stream, but yeah, thank you. Sending you all hearts and blah blah blahs. Um, and yeah, thank you.